following 3 stories are about people who came upon the unexpected whilst in the wild. Story number 3. A man told the following creepy story about a strange experience he had on a trip he led to the top of Mount Sterling in North Carolina. It was a tough climb to get to the top and was about 6 miles from the nearest road. He was leading a group of 8 middle school kids, which also included a co-instructor. They were camping out on the top of the mountain on a clear night with a full moon. The kids and the other co-instructor went to bed in their tents. He chose to spend the night outside in a hammock, reading until about 10 p.m. He then turned off his lamp to settle in for the night. Everything around him was brightly lit from the moon. From his position, he had a good view of the trail that they had hiked to get to the top. Feeling relaxed, he just laid back and enjoyed the scenery. Suddenly, he noticed something moving about on the trail. He was fearful it was a bear, who were common in the area, so he quickly sat up. As it got closer, he could tell it was a person. They were hiking up the trail with no lamp or any gear. He just froze as he watched this person slowly move closer towards their camp. The man then reached the top of the mountain where they were and then stopped. He carefully watched the man surveying their camp. What was freaking him out was that he could not see the man's face, only the outline of him. What did he want? The man stood there for about 30 minutes and then turned, sat down under a tree and faced their camp. The man was sitting up in a way that he knew he had no intention of going to sleep, as if he was waiting for something. He just sat there facing their camp. He had no idea what to do and decided to wait it out. He just stared at the man while the man appeared to stare back. This went on until about 3:30 a.m. Then he stood up, took a moment to again survey their camp a few minutes longer, and then went back down the trail. To this day, he had no idea what that was all about, but it freaked him out. For the rest of the trip, he had the strange feeling that they were being followed. Story number 2. Another person tells the following touching story while working with endangered shorebirds one summer and living on a remote island off of Cape Cod. One day after working a long shift, they felt tired and decided to sit down on the sand to take a nap. They then noticed a bottle laying next to their head. It was fogged up and weathered from the sea. They would normally ignore it, as bottles are regularly washed up on the island. However, on this occasion they decided to open it, thinking there might be something inside of it. Earlier that summer they'd found a message in a bottle from a team of people researching local currents, asking them to email them the coordinates they had found it at. Sure enough, this one had a message in it. They pulled out a wet, folded piece of paper and carefully unfolded it. It immediately began to tear apart in the wind, but managed to keep it pieced together enough to read it. It was from a woman named Mama Lou. She addressed it to the universe, asking to become cancer-free and hoping for a sign of remission during her doctor's appointment that was scheduled 2 days after she wrote the letter. It was one of the saddest and most beautiful things they'd ever read. A letter to the universe and a glimpse into the soul of a person who is desperate to grasp onto life as she knows it, sitting in their unlikely hands. Story number 1. 2 geologists were mapping one summer on the tundra in northern Quebec, about 200 kilometers from the nearest town. It was literally the middle of nowhere. Nobody was there. No cabins, no roads, nothing. They were walking along when their field partner flipped a rock with his foot. It was just a random rock that sat amongst millions of others where tons of glacial flowed up there. Suddenly, a piece of paper flew out from underneath it and was caught by the breeze. He turned to the other person and said, "What the heck? There shouldn't be any paper just randomly there." He then quickly grabbed the piece of paper before it completely blew away and found that it was folded. He opens it up and sees that it's a note with the words "Je t'aime" on it, with a drawn heart, which means "I love you." Upon seeing this, He literally got chills up and down his spine because the improbability of it floating all that way, being undamaged by the rain or the myriad of lakes, and then us finding was 1,000,000 to 1. He said he was not a religious or superstitious man, but it felt like the universe or some higher power just reached out and poked him in the chest.